Michael, this is a disgusting looking cutting here. It's black, there's scale all over it. What is it? Why is it so revolting, and why do we have to look for it?
Right, okay. So firstly, what we're looking at here is a plant called Boneseed, or also known as bitu bush. It's quite a invasive species in bushland settings, usually in areas that have some sort of canopy, semi-shaded situations. So what you've mentioned on it is the scale that's growing all over it, and the mold which is growing as a result of that scale. So essentially, there's a scale insect growing on this weed here, and it excretes a sugary substance. That sugary substance then grows a mold, a sooty mold, and actually it's our best friend at this point in time, because it's having an influence on the way that this plant is growing. The sooty mold itself doesn't affect the plant per se, but it does block out the ability for it to photosynthesize in the leaves, so therefore stresses the plant a little bit, as well as the fact that the scale is a sap-sucking insect and it's drawing nutrients out of the plant that way. That said...
But it wouldn't kill the plant.
Oh no, that said, this plant is an amazing recovery expert. So it produces masses and masses of these beautiful yellow flowers. So it looks amazing when it's in flower, and has been used in traditional times as garden plant because it looks so beautiful in flower. The problem with it is those flowers form these berries, as you can see here. So we've got a couple of berries there, and those berries are edible for certain bird species that spread around. The seed itself, I can show you on this just here, it's a very hard, long-lived seed. Hence the name Boneseed. It's really hard. It even looks like bone, the colour of bone. So these seeds can persist in the environment for up to 60 years. Really, really long time. So even though you control an infestation, it's something that you need to be vigilant of going back and eradicating seedlings that are up and coming for a very long time. The good thing about this plant is that it's a fairly shallow rooted plant. So even a large plant, which can get to a couple of metres high, can be pulled up relatively easy just by one person. And there's not too much root disturbance in the soil profile when you pull them out, because they have a weak root system. The problem in the landscape, as in terms of an environmental weed, is that they swamp out other vegetation and they're very competitive for nutrients and light. So.
It sounds like pulling it out would be a good thing to do. However, you then got to take the responsibility to remove the plant totally and make sure that none of the seeds drop. So,
absolutely.
Would you pull it out, or would you use your eye naturalist to let the relevant authority know so they can come and deal with it?
Certainly any mature specimens should be mapped with the eye naturalist, because it's likely that there are flowers or seed on them that could pose an issue in the future, so probably will need to be taken away. Seedlings of this species, if they are positively identified, you can positively identify them. There's no reason why you couldn't pull a seedling out that's 10 or 20 centimetres high as you're walking along, as people do regularly. I've seen this growing, proliferating at the Yuyangs and at Plenty Gorge and some other sort of rocky environments where along the trails at least, people have been pulling it out, so it's not very prevalent there, but as soon as you go off the trails where there's not people walking along pulling it out, it's very, very thick.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, thank you.